Yes, there are lots of new faces in the House of Commons, and we've been meeting those on the backbenches who are looking to get the ear of government to influence the political agenda and get the most out of their time at Westminster.
Yes, this week we're joined by Laura Kyrke-Smith, Labour MP for Aylesbury, and has the task of leading on the government's NHS mission on the backbenches. Laura, welcome to Political Influencers.
Thank you for having me. Hello.
I mean, look, you've got a pretty big mission yourself there. The NHS mission is one of the most important to the government. Is there a reason why this one is most appropriate for you that meant that you felt you could bring something to it?
Yes, well, I think it's one of the most important things, really. One of the most important tests of success of a Labour government is whether we can do what we did last time we were in government and get the NHS really working for people again. And I think this approach that we are taking, thinking about health as a mission, by which we mean a long-term agenda, a reformist agenda, is absolutely the right way to be thinking about it. And I'm really pleased to have a role in taking that work forward. And I think the other really key point about this mission-driven and mission-led approach that we're taking in government is that, of course, if we're going to improve the nation's health, if we're going to make it easier for people to use NHS services again, ultimately, it's not just about what the health department does in government. It's about what role the environment department plays when they are looking at work on green spaces. It's about what role the education department plays when we're looking at the curriculum and how we educate young people to be healthy. It's a brilliant agenda because it's one that is going to involve a whole of government approach, and it's an ambitious one, but it's going to be so important for us to get right.
I mean, mental health and young people's mental health is one of the most pressing things this government has to tackle. There are people who say, pumping funding into the NHS will probably help bring the waiting list down. But there is a much bigger problem. It's a much bigger problem than just money. What is your government going to do to try and fix that crisis?
The mental health crisis is one of the most important things for us to get to work on, and there are commitments in the manifesto that we're taking forward. If you look, for example, at the commitment we've made to recruit an additional 8,500 mental health support workers, but that's just the start. We're so conscious that really our country is in crisis in terms of our mental health, and it is going to take time to turn it around. But I'm pleased you asked about it, because for me coming into government, actually it's one of my top priorities personally. I lost a very good friend of mine to suicide 3 years ago now, in having just given birth to a baby girl. Suicide is one of the, I think, the biggest cause of death in women in that first year after childbirth. And, that was 3 years ago, but I spent a lot of time thinking about what I could have done differently to support her, but just more broadly about how she was let down by the systems. And we've really got to start making a dent in this mental health crisis that so many people are suffering from. And I think, as you say, it's partly about getting more funding in and getting waiting times down and making sure that it is possible for people who are struggling with their mental health to see someone. But it's a much broader agenda. We've got to really keep driving up the awareness in society of the mental health challenges that people face. We've got to get young people thinking about how they can look after their mental health better, and we've got to make sure that all of us know how to be a good ally to people who are struggling with their mental health.
And I'm so sorry to hear about your friend. And actually, the issue that you raised there about what happens after women have a baby and the support is something we have spent a lot of time talking about on this programme and will continue to do so. But I'm very sorry to hear about what happened to your friend. I want to ask you finally, there's a story in the Sunday papers today, in the Mail on Sunday, about Labour MPs who don't want to hold surgeries anymore because they are afraid, that they feel in fear of their lives, realistically. They want to do surgeries online. I want to ask you, are you doing in-person surgeries for your constituents, and how do you feel about your personal safety?
I am doing surgeries in person. Yes, I do them sort of by appointment. I ask people to write in and book in advance, and then we can just make sure that people give their address and that we know that they live locally and need to see me. But we do. It's really, really important for all of us as MPs to see constituents. There are some actually that prefer to see us online, and I do a few online surgeries as well. But yes, I'm just coming from the Remembrance service in Market Square in Aylesbury this morning, and I just think, you know, being out and about, meeting people, seeing them in person, there's no substitute for that really, in terms of understanding what's on their minds and how we can best support them as MPs.
Laura Kyrke-Smith, thank you so much for being with us on Times Radio this afternoon.